Hello, everyone, and welcome to the front nine coverage of the 2019 Texas State Championships presented by Discraft. I'm Paul Ulibarri. I'm joined by Brian Earhart. Brian, how you doing today, man?
Great. Ready to watch some disc golf.
Right into it. We got Anthony Perkins. He's the defending champion from 2018. Local favorite. Of course, we have Ricky Wysocki, two-time world champion, with that nice cheese grin there. Ooh, you can't get too serious, but can you?
Maybe.
That's myself, Paul Ulibarri. And then rounding out the card.
Oh, man. The majestic beast himself, James Conrad.
With the flowy hair. Yeah, so this is the first hole, par 5, 1,130 feet. This one plays slightly downhill. You have that OB to the left. You actually have a mandatory to the right and that pawn. And this is a long hole to kind of start your round. We also had a right to left crosswind. And
it seemed to make it a lot tougher for people throwing distance drivers off the tee.
First up on the box, the defending champ, Northside Chain Gang Zone, Mr. Anthony A.P. Perkins.
The local crowd came out in full force today. It was awesome.
oh yeah, they just absolutely love AP. I mean, I love AP. He's such a cool dude. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and a great disc golfer as well.
Got a little bit too far under it. Looked a little bit nose up right off the bat.
Give me some love. Rebound. Give him some love.
Yeah.
There is that net, though, on the left side. You can hit that and roll back and bounce. So,
Unfortunately, he didn't, but yeah, he has that kind of
Next
nose
up on the
up
box, Mr.
angle
Ricky
naturally,
Wysocki.
so that's probably kind of a tough hole for him. He'd really have to aim it kind of down to get that thing to turn correctly. And Ricky is fortunate enough to have the power with the sidearm to actually get into position. This is a great play, especially with the right to left crosswind. Because when you're throwing downhill and you get that nose down on an Anheuser, let's say if he was throwing backhand,
exactly.
The wind kind of pushes you down, and then I saw a lot of people cut rolling out of bounds as well.
Very safe play.
Safe play, but, like I
On the
mentioned,
box, last year's
has the
runner-up,
power.
Mr. Paul
Oh, yeah.
Ulibarri.
And what are you thinking here off the tee?
Honestly, I had like a little grip issue, and so I just washed my hand off with water, and I was thinking, don't throw it left.
That's a pretty good mindset to have right off the bat.
Yeah, no, not the best mindset, but
Looks like you're throwing a nuke
yep, nuke.
or yanking a nuke.
Yeah, so there's a
Unfortunately.
mandatory right there, and I missed it by a good 50 feet. Not my best start, but look at James is like,
right,
whoa. Thanks,
James
James.
Conrad.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. How do you even do that?
And I know James off, tees like this, I feel like he doesn't even think about the OB. He just tries to throw it pretty much as far as he possibly can. And then if he goes OB, he's way down the fairway.
Yeah. And he's actually a player who has great angle control, which is what you need on this first tee shot. And that wasn't displaying that great angle control, but it was good enough. He's in bounds.
Keep in mind it was that right to left crosswind as well that kind of shoved the angle or the top of the disc down as well. So
And so off the tee, they weren't really sure about if there was a drop zone or if there wasn't a drop zone. And so I went from this particular area and said provisional just to make sure. For anybody playing tournaments at home, if you're not sure, provisional's your best friend.
absolutely. AP, was that the same white disc he tried throwing off?
I
off
think
the tee?
so. And this needs to get down. Yeah, he almost gets the roll back again, but
Looks like he's kind of opening his hips up early, maybe a little bit of first tee jitters.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, he definitely is going to have a lot of pressure coming into this tournament, being the defending champion, and James getting this turned
Gorgeous
over.
shot.
I mean, that's really close to that out of bounds. There's actually an out of bounds bunker right there that's perfectly placed,
Yeah.
honestly.
Ricky going sidearm again. Same disc.
And gets a nice flight out of that as long as he stays short of that bunker.
Another scary one.
Oh, wow. He actually gets past it.
And you're going same Kong as you threw on the previous shot. And I heard you saying that you thought this was going to flip over. Looks like you threw it maybe a little bit too high for what you wanted, but a little bit fortunate to stay in bounds there.
Yeah, very, very fortunate. As you can see, there's kind of a little lip there, and I think that's kind of what saved me. That had no business staying in bounds. And James is about 420 feet away at this point.
Perfect mini down-tempo flex.
And that's how you write it up. I mean, this is a really tough starting hole. With that crosswind and then it's super tight out of bounds, and just to have the control to be able to throw a flex shot there is really, really tough. And now,
beautiful shot from Anthony.
Yeah, very good. That's gonna
another soft lander.
Put him right in the circle for a nice little putt there, and that's for, I believe, for bogey. So,
yeah,
yeah. And here's and such a tool to be able to just go sidearm, and not have to even worry about the OB at all. And I'm just trying to get this as close as possible.
Little zone pop-up shot.
Lick my wounds and get on to the next hole. Oh, and we can definitely see the nerves, popping up for AP here, which is totally it's totally doable.
It's not often you're on a Jomez card, feature card with the whole gallery following you, and especially if you're the hometown hero, it's kind of like you want to put on a show for him,
it's
for sure.
Expected is what I'm trying to say. It's expected to have those kind of nerves, and he's going to settle right down in the round, and he'll be just fine. But
hole 2 is kind of an interesting shot. As you can see, it's a par 4, and the goal really is to push it as close to the OB on the right as possible, but if you want to push it far, the OB does open up and kind of fans out wide. So what are you doing here?
I think the play that a lot of us are going to try to do is to get into that tree line, like you said. And then once you get far enough, you get inside 250 feet. I say this a lot on commentary, but when the better players get inside 250 feet, you really have a chance to get up and down no matter what.
Exactly. It's more about just giving yourself an opportunity to get up and down, regardless of where it is.
Exactly. And this gap that you guys are seeing right off the tee, I mean, it looks big on camera, but initially we're all just worried about getting through that gap. Like, the OB really isn't even coming into play in our minds. We just want to hit this tiny gap right here because you have to throw it almost full power to get through there. And this is a beautiful
This
backhand.
is aggressive.
Super aggressive, and it's going to pay off. He's going to have a fairly easy upshot.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to throw flex through the gap.
Play a little flare.
Yeah, I mean, I know I don't have the distance to really outdrive that OB to the right, but I also know, with a little Anheuser, I can make that skip a little bit more soft. And this is just local knowledge right here. He knows if he throws this rock just short of that ditch, he'll have like kind of a wide open shot.
Exactly.
And I wasn't so sure watching that, but
it's one of the more interesting short par 4s on the course for sure. And you're going turnover flick ringer? Is that what this is?
Yeah. I'm more comfortable kind of hitting my gaps than throwing my backhand swing. Kind of sometimes it gets away from me on shorter up shots. So I normally kind of throw sidearm approaches like that. And there you go. AP's, 6 feet for birdie right there.
Yeah, there's a front gap to the green. There's a backdoor route to the green. That middle section of bushes is fairly open, so even if you're in there, you have some sort of putt. Ricky got kind of an unfortunate kick there. Still probably has like a 28-footer. And James, without a sidearm, this is still kind of a touchy technical shot. He's trying to flip up that old green AVR that he always throws. He's about, 28, 29 feet?
Yeah, it's interesting because if I were to pick somebody to have that putter up shot, to save my life, I'd probably pick James. And it wasn't his best effort for sure. It's a good
gorgeous putt from Ricky. No wobble. That's a gorgeous push putt. Probably one of the prettier ones in the game for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have about a disc and a half width. No problem. You were setting up for that one for quite some time, too.
Yeah, it was like kind of a risk-reward situation.
Definitely got the reward for sure.
Yeah, if you can rewind that, you'll see that my disc kind of barely fit through there. But I really wanted the birdie, especially after the first hole start. James with a birdie.
Gorgeous putt.
I mean, that sets up for a par, or a, pardon me, a birdie frame right there, which is probably one of the only ones on the round, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
Because that hole plays very, very tough.
And a gorgeous birdie from AP. Moving into hole 3. This one has a really cool shot selection here. So you can either go inside righty forehand flex, which is what I think you did. James, someone without a forehand is going to go some sort of inside flip up that kind of crests nose down and pushes forward as far as possible. Kind of a sweet hole.
Yeah, really cool. And then you have to have a little bit of distance control because behind it there's a nice little drop off. I don't think there's any OB back there, but you'll have to deal with some elevation change right there along with distance, which is always tough. And Ricky's throwing Firebird here. I think he wanted that to be a little more stable.
Maybe a little higher, a little bit more down tempoed for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like to be 70 footer, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, an inside Ricky range for sure.
And then James pretty much drawing up exactly what I was saying, catching kind of a rough tree at the end, but that's about as perfect of a hyzer flip as you could throw.
I mean, the camera doesn't give it justice with how hard that shot is. It's just so difficult. There's nothing else I can really say. It's just so difficult.
This is a way easier shot to throw at the flex forehand.
Yeah. Just. Oh, I did hit the basket. I was wondering.
I thought that was coming in perfect.
Yeah, I was actually wondering because the crowd, we couldn't hear anything or anything, but I heard the crowd go like, oh, and I thought, man, that might have been close. But instead it skipped a billion miles away.
AP kind of doing the same thing that Ricky did, but his came out maybe a little bit more stable of a disc. I think he's maybe 50 from the bucket.
Yeah, maybe a little bit inside 50.
Oh, okay.
Probably about 40, I'm guessing. That was so close.
Ouch.
Just a little drop, and that's cash. And as you can see, I went deep, and then I have to deal with that elevation. This is literally the definition of me bushwhacking. I'm down there. Have like a short swing. Oh, man.
AP from about 35 buckets. Gorgeous putt.
Cash money.
His putt is really interesting. He has a spin putt, but it comes out with kind of a lack of spin. I mean, it's kind of unique for sure, but it sounds like it's working for him.
Oh, he's a great putter from what I've seen. I played with him a few times now, and he's always been just a solid putter inside the circle and just about right at 40 feet.
Tapping in for the par. Ricky tapping in for the par as well. And we will move on to hole number 4. Push this one about as far as you possibly can and straight. We have OB to the right, and we kind of have, I don't think there's OB to the left, but the bushes on the left side are extremely thick to the point where scrambling out of them is pretty tough. So push this one far and get the second shot either over the green, OB, or put something a little shorter and give yourself like a 250-foot upshot to the green.
Right. Yeah, we're just trying to throw something kind of accurate in the middle, but we did have a kind of a weird win, and I don't think anybody really figured it out right at first. As you see, like James got this really nose up, and that's exactly what you were saying. And those deep bushes, and that's just no man's land. There's nothing in there.
It's pretty much the equivalent of OB.
Yeah, you really have to catch a good break and maybe like hit and stay on the edge just to be able to get forward. And this looks like he turns it over a little bit much, but there's a lot of room to work with over there. And as this par 5, as you can see, this fairway's fairly big. So even if you go right, it kind of opens up that fairway to be able to throw that nice layup we were talking about.
Exactly.
And Ricky, he pushes this a little bit right, but with the height, he almost goes into, so he did get a little kick out.
It's a nice little kick.
Because off the tee, I thought that he might be kind of in there, not nearly as bad as James, but he got a nice kick out of there.
And you're going Kong again. Little pop-up flat, beautiful shot.
Yeah, I got lucky. That's one of the times where going last can benefit you, watching them kind of get the nose up, and then I was able to, make the correction, and I got a good wind read there.
There's a little bit better pull from AP. And again, like you were just saying, put it right in front of that OB green, and now he has a pretty wide open shot to the basket for a birdie. And James is actually re-teeing. He said the cabbage that he threw in off his first drive was even too thick to scramble out of. So he actually made the pro move and re-teed and almost hit Ricky in the process.
Yeah, me and Ricky had to kind of jump out of the way there.
And you're going for the green here.
Yeah, I felt like I wanted to be aggressive, and then my disc felt like it wanted to go swimming. But luckily, I hit these. There's 3 guardian trees there, and I squared one up. Otherwise, that's the camera. The viewer can't really see it, but that's all just a big pond.
You're swimming with the fishes.
Oh yeah, I'm never getting my disc back ever.
James kind of shanks it, but shanks it enough to where it's not going to be in trouble.
Yeah, a good miss, pro miss.
Ricky with kind of a tough shot he was trying to throw here. I thought maybe he was going to do some sort of step out forehand, but I think he wanted to go for the green.
Yeah, the nice thing about being left, though, is Ricky's such a great scrambler that even if he's in the woods, he'll be able to manufacture some sort of shot to probably get himself a look.
Absolutely.
Here he goes from the knee.
I think he's throwing a pig, you think? That thing just kept tracking to the left. That was gorgeous.
Yeah, I think that one was his AVR.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. He switches between the AVR, the Rhino, and the pig a lot.
It's a fantastic forehand.
And here's
James, maybe a little bit rattled from the first drive off this tee pad, or
I don't know. He actually leaked the one left on hole 2 as well, and so maybe he's just kind of struggling in that aspect right now. He'll make the correction though.
Little root beer float zone popped up to the basket, perfect.
James. Yeah, so lucky to even have a look there for birdie, and especially after throwing my disc 200 feet out of bounds.
James with a gorgeous recovery there for only a bogey after having to re-tee, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, birdies it from the tee with the penalty stroke. And here's Ricky actually goes a little bit deep, and now he has an obstructed putt, and he goes to that spin putt. It seems like when he's really far away or when he can't get that nice swing.
And he's a fantastic spin putter, too, so that was unfortunate for sure.
He really doesn't have a weakness. It's annoying.
Gorgeous putt from AP.
And there's a birdie. And then we're going to go into hole 5, par 3, 284 feet. This hole was made famous by none other than Bradley Williams last year, throwing one of the best shots I've ever seen. And as the drone flies, that's exactly where you want your disc to go. I mean, super tight gap. And I actually think a couple limbs fell down to make it a little bit easier this year, because it seemed a lot harder last year, as we see.
You definitely have to throw some sort of pushing hyzer flip. That tree on the left side right off the fairway, or right off the tee pad, kind of prevents you from throwing some sort of flat or, mini flex shot. So you're actually opting for a mantis forehand.
Yeah, I mean, I
like the play. I think you almost had it. I just nailed one of those last soldier trees on the left side.
Yeah, the last one. Really. It was really close to being perfect, but that's one I got to miss when I throw that. I get scared on this one when I'm throwing backhand. Like, Ricky shows you exactly what you want to do, but that shot that he's throwing is so difficult, and one bad kick, and you're taking bogey on this hole. And to me, when I add it up, it's just not worth taking that kick.
Absolutely. We got 2 of probably the best hyzer flip throwers, especially for that baby hyzer flip here. James is about 30 feet short. AP with a long look here for maybe 70. I think you have is that an MJ Banger GT?
Yes.
Trying to throw it in.
Yeah, good height. You know, that's all you can ask for as long as you get one of the two, right?
Hopefully both.
Good line or good height. Yeah. You kind of fish for some compliments with one of those, you know? Usually you get one or the other.
Easy 3. And we actually just watched James miss pretty routine putt for him. So I think maybe after the last couple of shanks off the tee or maybe some upshots, maybe he's thinking a little bit too much about, you know, those types of misses, or maybe something's not right with his brain and his body, but not something he can't figure out.
No, but you need to figure it out really quick, especially going into this next hole.
Especially going into this hole. Hole 6, very, very interesting par 4. You either have a kind of a finesse turnover backhand or some sort of flick to a tiny short landing zone, or you can actually go up the gut and try to blast something as far as you possibly can. But again, as you can see, there's really not too many safe zones on this fairway.
No, very good point. It seems like the hole is designed for you to throw a 200 to 150 foot shot and then have almost 400 feet into the green as far as power goes, you know.
And Ricky's trying to cheat the hole pretty much by throwing a roller and hopefully missing all the cabbage, and it looks like he kind of pinned himself off to the left side.
Right, because even if you throw it perfect and you're, like, let's say his shot doesn't hit that tree and it lands right in the fairway, the shot that he has to throw from there is playing 400 feet, even though it's probably only 350.
And this is what I pretty much chalked up for you. This is one of your favorite shots, is hitting a tight gap with a distance driver and pushing it, you know, pretty much as far as you possibly can. That's about the best shot that I could possibly imagine on this hole.
Yeah, I got the group to turn around like, what are you guys doing? Like, you're not supposed to, I don't think you're supposed to throw it that far on this hole.
And that's what I'm saying off the tee pad here. Even the safe shot is challenging. Even the safe, you know, putter turnover. So it's kind of like you got to pick your poison at this point. James pitching up to the left side. Hopefully he has some sort of opening.
Yeah, it's tough because it really makes you think off the tee, and there's really no, like you said, there's no perfect option. Like, you see that he's in the middle of the fairway.
And still has to miss all sorts of soldier trees. And
kicks in the bushes. Ricky, sidearm roller.
For a 400...
Like, that's his hole in a nutshell. Ricky, backhand roller. Ricky, sidearm roller. Ricky, sidearm upshot.
Or you can go blast a distance driver up the gut and hope for the best.
Yeah, but if, you know, the risk that I'm taking there, if I hit early, because the gap that I'm hitting is 30 feet off the tee.
Yeah.
If I hit early, it's a bogey, guaranteed for sure.
For a 471-foot par 4, it's definitely challenging. And you're going again, ringer flick. Ouch. That would have been kind of nice, huh?
Yeah, that would have been a good little get there. I mean, this is even though it's such a short hole, it's almost playing as a par 5.
Super challenging.
It really is. Like, I'm actually kind of curious. I'm going to look up the stats on that real quick.
James with a pretty routine 20-footer. No problem.
Very nice.
AP taps in for a routine par. And another par for Ricky, and you with the lone birdie after that beautiful drive off the tee.
Yeah, so this hole's playing as one of the tougher on the course with only 3 birdies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another tough birdie here is hole 7. You actually have another one of those super wooded fairways. You either choose some sort of flex shot, there's kind of a tough gap off the tee, or you throw a cut roller is what I see a lot of people doing as well. It looks like you're trying to throw the roller. I see a crank SS in your hand. Definitely
Look out.
opened the hips up a little bit there. Didn't push it out to the left far enough. As you can see, that gap that the players are trying to hit is extremely tight. So that's why I think Ricky's trying to bite it off with the roller. But again, the fairway's so wooded that it's kind of challenging to even envision a line here.
Yeah, it's one of those holes that is, honestly, it's not a good hole. There's just really not a lot good about this hole. you see these shots, like if you absolutely pure this gap, and this gap is 3 feet wide. It's 3 feet wide.
Exactly. James is going with his beefiest mid-range. Looks like a glow gator.
So
Hits
he
the flex line.
Piers it, dink.
And that's the tough part. That's the natural flight of the flex line, is fading off to the right. And then there's a whole series of soldier trees there. So it's a tough break for James.
So to give the designers some credit, I know what they're trying to do. You want to throw something soft in between these two trees and then pitch up for par. But there's none of us who want to do that. We all want to go after this thing.
Exactly.
And that's when we get into trouble.
You're about 28 feet short after that. Flick hits something early. Ricky going with an AVR again. Kind of.
Yeah. We
shorts it a little bit.
Short, but it's a tough little, 6 to 7 foot narrow corridor from a knee. AP pretty good.
That was a pretty fancy little run there.
Nifty
Run, you could say. Quaint. And James going for looks like a tomahawk. And unfortunately, that's not where you want to be, folks.
Just straight up whack, straight left. And now look where he is.
James is catching kind of the short straw on a few different shots here. So he's actually running it with his green AVR and comes super close to dropping it in. That would have been nice.
That's an awesome upshot. Like he jump putted it over the forest, so it was nice.
Ricky with an uncharacteristic miss from 25. Same here with AP.
I actually had a uncharacteristic. No, I didn't. I sometimes miss those, but I did. They didn't catch it on film, so I look better than these guys.
You did tap in for that bogey there, and it looks like the whole card. Did the whole card take bogeys there?
Actually, I'm gonna say I made it, and it spit through.
We'll give you that kind of credit. And after 3 bogeys and a double bogey, we move on to hole 8, which I think is a gorgeous hole. 375 feet dead straight. You have OB directly to the right, and you really can't afford. And we have a little dance troupe here. Beautiful.
Get it.
One of the prettier flyovers I've probably ever seen.
That guy's doing the worm. Oh my gosh.
And Emerson Keith. Wow.
That was incredible.
I have goosebumps.
This is crazy. Okay, so you just want to throw it directly straight. If you go too far, you could go out of bounds. I'm really pleased with this shot.
It's about as straight as you could possibly go. Big Z Mantis?
Yeah, Big Z Mantis. I was a little frustrated because I kind of hit this little slope that you couldn't see, but I mean, anybody in the tournament will be happy with that result.
Oh, yeah. Ricky trying to do something similar.
And he does.
And he does.
Yeah, this is almost the exact shot as I just did there.
James looks like he's throwing a T-bird. And he's been kind of early releasing the whole round so far. With the exception of hole 1's tee shot where he kind of yanked it over to the right. Looks like his release point is a tiny bit off. And
yeah, which is interesting. This is like a course that I just feel like he could just eat up. You know?
Especially with those late turn hyzer flips that kind of push
just
forward.
Really soft landing. And like this hole right here, like I would, it's right up his alley of like comfortability.
I don't think that's a word, but
it is today, buddy. It is today.
James again with an catching some cabbage on that upshot. Now he has about 100-footer to the basket.
He's definitely having a rough go, as is.
He did look visibly worked for a couple holes out there, and this was definitely one of them.
Well, his last 4 shots have been tomahawk, jump putt, and hyzer over the forest, kick OB.
That's what Wooded Golf can do to you, for sure.
Pending. I'm just outside the circle here.
Little James Harden stepper.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
that must have felt pretty good.
Oh, it definitely did. I mean, that's my comfort spot, just outside the circle.
Ricky with a gorgeous inside the circle putt. That's a good birdie to get for sure. That's one where if you hit anything early, you have a possibility of kicking right OB into the water and definitely taking strokes in the field in this hole.
We have a nice little leaderboard check-in. Muirweed with a great start. 5 through 5 with an ace on 3.
A fantastic ace on 3.
Right.
Everybody's tapping in, moving on to the next hole. This one is a little bit shorter. Another one of those technical shots. Looks like a baby hyzer with some sort of mid-range or putter. Or you can go left side with the forehand as well.
Yeah, there's a couple different gaps for the forehand. A flex one, and then kind of a straight hyzer to fade. And as you can see on the right, there's OB the whole way. Some of the force kind of blocks you if you get a bad kick. But you could very easily, with a bad kick as well, or just with a bad shot, go out of bounds.
And it looks like you're trying to throw buzz, and it got a little stable on you. I think there was a tailwind. I heard you say something about a tailwind right after you threw.
Yeah, I didn't take it into account. You know, I threw it with a bit of hyzer, thinking I could flip it up. Ricky just shows you exactly what you want.
Makes perfect adjustment.
Yeah, and that, I think that's...
Is that some sort of AVR?
No, pardon me, guys. I just know that it's a similar disc as
Gorgeous.
like a pig or a rhino. What is that new one that they have? The classic AVR? Yeah,
is that what it is?
I think it's a classic.
That was a
AVR,
gorgeous shot.
Something like that. I'm sorry, guys.
Anthony with another early release, and this one unfortunately flares out of bounds.
Yeah, not optimal.
With the shot he likes to throw, that kind of baby nose up flex, this hole's kind of tough for that. James, however, looks like his putter's flipping up a little bit too much, and he's just a tiny bit off every single drive.
So it's, I think he threw a really good shot there, but the wind actually switched in his shot to almost a crosswind. It's really swirly out here, and it flipped his, if you remember on hole 3, he threw it down that right side, and it held stable, and that one flipped over kind of right away into the brush, but luckily he stayed safe.
Yeah. He'll have to settle for a 4 putt. Or was that for 3?
That was, he'll tap in for 3.
You, after getting a little bit short on the approach with that zone, missing weak side. Never feels good.
But you know what I didn't miss? The ground. Every time.
100%. James tapping in his 3. AP, unfortunately, going OB off the drive with the bogey. And Ricky with that beautiful park job takes the birdie.
You think I could get it? Oh, got it.
Nailed it.
And that was hole 9. That's going to do it for us for the front 9 coverage. We appreciate you guys. Look at this. That was a nice slow-mo. We appreciate you guys joining us. Join us for the back 9. Thank you, Brian.
See you guys soon. Tune into the back 9.